First at 4 on this Friday, Governor Whitmer has a message for Republican lawmakers in Michigan and the White House. Former Vice President Joe Biden goes public to shoot down a decades-old claim of sexual assault.
It is not true. I'm saying unequivocally, it never happened.
What we've learned about the accuser's story, and Ben is here this afternoon. Hey, Ben.
Good afternoon, Karen. The clouds and the showers are gone, and if you think today is great, wait till you see the weekend. Details on that are coming right now. First at 4.
Local 4 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
Good afternoon. I'm Karen Drew. First at 4, Governor Whitmer's battle with protesters and the Republican legislature is getting national attention. You've just heard from the governor. Here's where things stand. Today, President Trump tweeted his support for the protesters we saw in Lansing yesterday, calling them good people and urging the governor to make a deal. Last night, she extended Michigan's state of emergency through May 28th after the legislature refused to do so. It is an issue that is surely headed to court as soon as next week. Lawmakers have already authorized legal action. Kimberly Gill in the newsroom for more from the governor. Kim.
Hi, Karen. Good afternoon. We're going to start with that presidential tweet that you mentioned. Governor Whitmer and President Trump seem to see very different things at the protests in Lansing. He tweeted, "They're good people who are angry." This afternoon, the White House tried to elaborate on what he meant, while the governor had this to say.
Yesterday's scene at the Capitol was disturbing, to be quite honest. Swastikas and Confederate flags, nooses, and automatic rifles do not represent who we are as Michiganders.
The president was referencing generally that in this country you have a First Amendment right to protest. I think that's something we all treasure here, and we should, rightfully. You have a right to do that constitutionally, but you must protest within the bounds of the law. He encourages everyone to protest lawfully, and also to engage in our social distancing guidelines, which we think all Americans should engage in.
Order remains in effect until May 15th. She's urging you to only leave work for essential activities, wear your masks when you do, and practice good social distancing. Today, the governor signed an executive order for some forms of work to restart, including construction, real estate, and work that is traditionally performed outdoors. That order goes into effect May 7th as another step toward re-engaging the economy. The order also included safety mandates designed to keep workers safe from COVID-19. The governor addressed her battle with lawmakers and the president's advice, I should say, to make a deal.
We're not in a political crisis where we should just negotiate and find some common ground here. We're in a public health crisis. We're in the midst of a global pandemic that has already killed almost 4,000 people in our state.
And we are still sorting through all of the governor's comments, and business editor Rod Maloney is gathering reaction. We'll have more on her battle with the legislature and where that's headed. That's coming up on the news tonight later at 5. For now, Karen, we'll send it back to you.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you, Kim.
Sure.
As the battle continues in Lansing, the number of coronavirus cases in the state continues to rise as we enter the month of May. State now confirms more than 42,000 cases of COVID-19, an increase of nearly 1,000 from yesterday. Nearly 3,900 people have now died from the virus. Today, Mayor Mike Duggan announced the testing site at the state fairgrounds reached a new high yesterday, testing more than 1,000 people. In Wayne County, there are more than 7,600 confirmed cases of COVID-19. With 752 deaths. County Executive Warren Evans is optimistic that the state's largest county is flattening the curve.
While there still are peaks and valleys, the curve is flattening some, which is a good indication of hopefully things get better soon. But clearly that's all contingent upon people's individual behavior when that starts to happen, and whether or not the worst thing that could happen is we get a spike and have to go through all of this again.
Now, as we start the new month, we're seeing a bunch of stops and starts as the nation's governors deal with how to reopen their economies. At least 21 states have now started to ease social distancing, with malls and big retail chains preparing to reopen. Simon Property Group will open 31 shopping malls in 8 states. In Texas and Florida, beaches are reopening, but in California, Governor Newsom is locking down the shore in Orange County. None of the states have seen the 14-day decline in the virus suggested for that reopening. Now, this is former Vice President Joe Biden. He was talking publicly for the first time about a former staffer's claim of sexual assault. She alleges it happened 27 years ago when Biden was a senator. Today, he says he has no idea why she'd make a false claim.
I don't know what is motivating her. I don't know what's behind any of it, but it's irrelevant. It never happened. It never happened, period.
The claim has gotten new attention just as Biden becomes the presumptive Democratic nominee for president, gearing up to face President Trump in November. Reid is the former staffer claiming Biden assaulted her back in 1993 when he pinned her against a wall in a Senate corridor. NBC reports Reid's story has changed over time. Last year, she was among a handful of women who called out Biden for what they called inappropriate touching. Reid did not mention assault at the time. NBC did reach out to 6 people Reid says she told about the assault. Their accounts vary. 3 former Senate staffers do say they don't remember any such conversation, but 2 say Reid did share the claim at some point. The 6th person says she was told about inappropriate touching, but not assault. Reid claims she filed a harassment claim back then, but no report has ever been found. Biden says women should be heard when making these claims, but that's just the beginning.
They should start off with the presumption they're telling the truth. Then you have to look at the circumstances and the facts. And the facts in this case do not exist. They never happened. And there's so many inconsistencies in what has been said in this case.
Today, President Trump said in an interview he thinks Reid is more convincing than the accuser in the Brett Kavanaugh case. The president has faced similar allegations himself. More than a dozen women have made claims ranging from unwelcome advances to sexual harassment and assault. The president denies all of those claims. First at 4, let's check in with some of the stories that are making headlines around the world on this Friday. And we need to start with some sobering reminders of how deadly the coronavirus pandemic has become. Take a look at this. These are cemeteries in Brazil. They keep expanding to handle all of the victims. Crews can be seen digging thousands of graves, caskets, then quickly brought in, buried with little ceremony. And grieving relatives have little time to say goodbye. Although Brazil's president has dismissed the virus as, quote, a little flu, Brazil has confirmed more cases than China. Moving to Spain, there is a sign of hope today. The country's largest field hospital is now preparing to close. The facility, which was set up inside a huge exhibition center in Madrid, has treated thousands of patients. Well, now the rates of infections and deaths are declining in Spain. Government is also beginning to loosen restrictions. The virus has hit hard, killing more than 24,000 people there. Time to shift gears, right? Let's head on into the weekend. We got some sun out there. Ben Bailey standing by with his first forecast, and I think a lot of us are excited about what's in store for us, Ben.
Yeah, it only gets better from here, and today's not half bad, especially considering what we've gone through in the last couple, Karen. It's all sunshine for the rest of today, and that is going to start to fade just a little bit over the upcoming weekend. Here's the satellite image. You can start to see these clouds advancing from Lake Michigan. This is ahead of a cold front, which is primarily going to come through dry. But the rain chances are not completely zero this weekend. We'll call them very slight, and they look like they're going to be centered there on Saturday. We'll talk more about that, but those temperatures will grab your attention. 70 tomorrow, 72 on Sunday. And again, we may see some clouds there in between, but we'll talk more about the weekend and how things are going to look much different next week in just a few minutes. Karen?
Always appreciate it. Thank you, Ben. Still ahead. When it comes to home delivery, we all want it faster, and maybe a little faster. But what are you willing to pay? We're going to talk about a new offer from a big retailer. And could today be the beginning of the end for those irritating robocalls? We'll tell you what's changed. Up first, she bravely fought and won against COVID-19. But this 18-year-old says the battle is not over yet. We're going to show you how she's joining the scientific battle against the virus. We've got that story next.